Welcome to Inspiring Histories, where ancient secrets and biblical mysteries come to life. What if the story of Abraham, the father of nations, the man who heard the voice of God, is only part of the truth you were allowed to know? What if ancient texts, erased from official scriptures, hold details of his journey that were deemed too dangerous, too mysterious, too powerful? And what if those secrets still echo today, hidden in plain sight, waiting for those daring enough to seek them? This is not just another biblical tale. This is a forbidden story, whispered through generations, found in fragments, suppressed by religious authorities. A story of fire and confrontation, of secret rituals and celestial knowledge, and it all begins with one elusive source, the Book of Jasher. Mentioned twice in the Bible, yet vanished. What was written there that could not remain in the open? Why did early scholars fear its content? And most importantly, what hidden wisdom did Abraham possess? Wisdom that may have shaped not just his life, but the destinies of empires, and perhaps the fate of humanity itself. If you love uncovering ancient secrets and forbidden knowledge, make sure to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below, because what we're about to reveal may forever change how you understand history. Today, we uncover the Book of Jasher, what they didn't tell you about Abraham's hidden wisdom. The Book of Jasher, mentioned twice, in Joshua and in 2 Samuel. Two fleeting references, and then silence. No official manuscript, no recognized canon, nothing but whispers. But what was this book? And why does its absence feel louder than its presence? Jewish tradition speaks of ancient scrolls kept far from public eyes, guarded by sages who feared their power. Early church leaders dismissed them, not out of ignorance, but fear. Fear of what they contained. Fear of what they could awaken. The Book of Jasher was more than a record. It was a key to understanding not just Abraham's journey, but his transformations. The boy who defied his father's idols. The young man who stood before Nimrod, unafraid. The seeker who wandered not just across deserts, but through realms of knowledge forbidden to ordinary men. Imagine a book that records Abraham's defiance, not in symbolic terms, but in vivid detail. A book that tells us of confrontations between the powers of darkness and a single man of faith armed with secret names, rituals, and ancient wisdom. A book that might explain why Abraham was chosen, not merely for his obedience, but for something deeper. His ability to see what others could not. To hear whispers from the heavens that others feared. To challenge kings and principalities with a knowledge drawn from the earliest days of creation. And that is where the official narrative ends, but the forbidden account begins. Because the Book of Jasher doesn't just hint at miracles. It describes them. It doesn't merely allude to confrontations. It reveals battles, earthly and spiritual, that shook the ancient world. And as we turn the page on what they tried to erase, one question becomes unavoidable. What else did Abraham know that was too dangerous for the world to read? The Book of Jasher expands on what the Torah only hints at. In Genesis 15 verse 5, it is written, "And he brought him forth abroad, and said, Look now toward heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them. And he said unto him, So shall thy seed be." But according to Jasher 12:29-35, Abraham didn't merely gaze at the stars, he read them. The text tells of Abraham lying in the fields at night, observing the constellations. And Abram sat alone by night, and considered the order of the stars and the signs of the heavens, and the wisdom of the Most High was placed upon him. In this passage, the stars are not ornaments of the sky, but divine language. Patterns carrying messages, codes of creation. Even more mysterious is the moment when angels come to Abraham. Genesis 18 verse 2 describes, "And he lifted up his eyes and looked, and, lo, 3 men stood by him." But the book of Jasher, chapter 18, elaborates. "And the men spoke to Abraham, and their speech was as thunder and as the sound of rushing waters. And they instructed him in the hidden names of God that are not uttered among men." Names, not prayers, not rituals, names. The ancient tradition holds that speaking certain names of God could bend reality, open doors between dimensions. In Kabbalistic texts, these are known as Shemet Kodesh, sacred names, each with power to create, destroy, or reveal hidden layers of existence. And according to Jasher, there was one night. Abraham stood alone beneath the heavens, reciting these forbidden names, one by one. And the stars responded. They shifted, glowed brighter, and realigned, as if acknowledging his call. Could this explain why he was chosen? Not merely for his faith, but for his ability to decode the language of the heavens and speak words only angels dared to utter. Perhaps this is why the book of Jasher was buried. Because it doesn't describe Abraham as a passive servant, but as one who knew the hidden mechanisms of creation itself. But Abraham's mastery came with a cost. Knowledge that bends the fabric of reality is never given lightly. The book of Jasher hints at this burden. It describes Abraham performing ancient rites, not magic, but sacred alignments between heaven and earth. Rituals where fire, stone, and word combined into one act of creation. In Genesis 15, we are told of the covenant between the pieces. And he took him all these, and divided them in the midst, and behold a smoking furnace, and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. But Jasher expands, and the flame carried the words that were not to be spoken, and Abram stood within the circle, and the heavens trembled. What were these words? Could this ritual have been more than a covenant, a gateway? A point where realms touched and ancient powers responded. In the book of Enoch, another forbidden text, we read of watchers, divine beings who descended and gave forbidden knowledge to mankind. Did Abraham receive instruction from such beings, allowed to learn what others could not? The Midrash states, Abraham knew the language of the angels, the whispers of the stars, and the speech of beasts. A man who could interpret creation itself. This was not merely faith, it was dominion, and dominion is dangerous. The sages feared that such knowledge, in the wrong hands, could destroy worlds. Perhaps that is why the book of Jasher vanished, hidden not only from public eyes, but from the reach of power-hungry rulers and reckless mystics. But did it truly vanish? Some believe fragments survived, passed through secret orders. The Zohar hints that certain names and symbols are only given to those tested by fire, an echo of Abraham himself. Even today, whispers remain. Esoteric traditions, secret societies, and cryptic manuscripts all hint at a chain, a lineage of hidden wisdom traced back to Abraham. A wisdom guarded fiercely because its misuse could unbalance not only nations, but reality itself. And now the question lingers, where are these secrets today? Buried in forgotten libraries, guarded by ancient brotherhoods, or hiding in plain sight, waiting for someone with eyes to see and the courage to seek. We may never know the full depth of what Abraham discovered. The official texts give us fragments, shadows on ancient parchment. But the Book of Jasher hints at something far greater. A man who walked among kings, defied empires, and spoke the words of creation itself. Was he the father of nations? Yes. But perhaps also the keeper of secrets the world was never meant to hold. The question remains, was the book hidden to protect us from deception, or to shield us from truths too vast to comprehend? And if pieces of that knowledge still survive, who holds them today? Secret orders, hidden scholars, or perhaps those who continue Abraham's path, seekers who dare to question and unlock doors long thought sealed. What do you think? Could the forbidden wisdom of Abraham still exist, waiting in fragments, hidden among ancient manuscripts or sacred traditions? Could names once spoken by Abraham still carry power? Share your thoughts below. Like, subscribe, and join this quest for ancient truth, because this journey is far from over. The Book of Jasher may be lost, but its echoes remain. And the questions it raises still challenge us today.